This is surveillance video a Broad Ripple homeowner shared on the Nextdoor app. His home was approached by a man carrying a package. He knocks on the door and then checks the door handle. Then he takes the package back to his vehicle. He returns and walks around the house talking on his cell phone. At one point, he seems to notice the camera and takes off. That does not seem to be the behavior of a bona fide delivery man, and neighbors are concerned.
That was during the day when that person did that. So I keep my house locked even when I'm inside, just with the idea if somebody checks the door and it's not locked, and I'm by myself in the house, I don't know, that kind of creeps me out.
The homeowner told RTV6 he was not expecting a delivery and no undeliverable slip was left behind. Police say if neighbors see someone who appears to be casing a house, they need to call police.
We need to be able to work hand in hand when these circumstances come up. So if they observe anything that's suspicious or they observe criminal activity, I need you to give us a call. And if you don't want to talk directly to the police, you can also contact Crime Stoppers and remain anonymous.
The Broad Ripple Village Association is aware of the masquerading delivery man and will send out an email blast to his residents to beware.
We're always concerned about people breaking in. It seems to actually be a problem around here during the day, which is pretty disconcerting because it's a pretty working class neighborhood. Most people aren't here during the day.
But police are patrolling the neighborhood, some on bicycles. Fake delivery men are on notice. Derek Thomas, RTV6.
At this hour, family and friends are gathering at a Greenfield church to pay their respects to a firefighter who died in the line of duty. Lieutenant Scott Compton died just hours after battling a fire last Friday. RTV6's Matthew McClellan is at Brandywine Community Church, where visitation is underway right now and where the funeral will be held.
Good evening, Erica. We just heard from one of Scott Compton's colleagues a short time ago, and camera crews are not allowed inside the church for the visitation, but even from the outside, you can really get a sense of that sadness being felt by first responders and in the Hancock County community tonight. Earlier today, a small procession moving Compton's body from Earlywine Funeral Home to Brandywine Church along US 40. Firefighter and EMT Scott Compton was one of many firefighters working to put out a large fire at Mueller Auto Body in Greenfield. He died of a heart attack hours later. Because Compton's death happened within 48 hours of fighting a fire, it is considered a line of duty death. Compton served the department for 17 years and was actively working part-time with the rank of lieutenant. Tony Bratcher with Sugar Creek Township Fire Department says first responders across Hancock County tonight are feeling this loss.
Tremendous loss for the whole community. Hancock County is such a tight-knit, whereas we all live out here, we work out here. Our departments all work pretty close together, so the loss in there is felt pretty far-reaching between police and fire, and I mean, it's a very somber mood.
Now the funeral for Scott Compton is set for tomorrow, 11 a.m. right back here at Brandywine Community Church. That'll be followed by a procession to Park Cemetery, where the remainder of the ceremony will be. Governor Holcomb tomorrow ordering all flags in Hancock County to be flown at half-staff. Reporting in Greenfield, Matthew McClellan, RTV6.
Teen violence is on the rise. According to our numbers, teens charged with murder has more than doubled this year in Indianapolis. RTV6's Stephanie Wade is working for you to dig deeper into the source of teen crime and the warning signs for parents.
We've seen teenagers involved in drug robberies, arson, stabbings, and shootings. Teens at the center of violence.
I'm going to read you some numbers that we have kept track of. Last year, in 2016, 7 people under the age of 19 were charged with murder. So far this year, 15 teenagers have been charged with murder. That is more than double.
Yes, it is.
What's your reaction to that?
It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart.
Michelle Gray's son has had many run-ins with the law.
2014, we were sitting in a courtroom.
And how old was he?
He was 13.
13 years old?
Yeah, he was 13.
And why was he in the courtroom?
He had a gun. He got caught with a gun.
His next arrest was for gang fighting.
I went to court 28 times with my son. 28 times I had to go to court.
Grace says when her husband and her oldest son died, grief took over, and she admits she did not pay enough attention to her son. That, combined with crime-ridden, drug and gun-filled neighborhoods, led her son to turn to violence.
Your child's demeanor changes. Their attitude changes. You see them walking around like they're cocky.
After everything failed, the Marion County Probation Office directed them to the Youth Advocate Program.
Were you able to go to that team meeting today? Many of our kids have guns, like to shoot guns and have participated in crimes in the community. So we try to find what the need is. Is it for protection? Is it for, because you feel as though you didn't have anything to do?
In the past 2 years, they've worked with 45 kids ages 14 to 17. Grace says they taught her son how to use a drill instead of a gun.
Say if a youth wanted to become a barber, he can go to a barber shop and get paid $7.25 an hour, 85 cents if he comes to work on time.
Learning sustainable skills and a value for life. That's what a desperate mother wanting to save her child aches for.
Every one of them gets up every day with, I might die today, and they don't even care. How do we fix that? That's what we have to fix.
Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And to learn more about the Youth Advocate Program, we have a link on our website at theindychannel.com/hotbutton. And we're working for you to highlight how this problem is very real for us right here in our neighborhoods. We compiled some of our recent reports involving teenagers connected to violence and serious crime. 2 teens are accused of shooting and killing 28-year-old John Beasley last month over a pair of Air Jordan sneakers and some weed. Police checked the victim's cell phone records, leading them to an arrest. A 17-year-old, Tony Hodges, and a 15-year-old boy. Murder and robbery charges were filed last week. The 16-year-old is now facing murder charges following the death of his adopted father earlier this month. Police arrested Jordan Marin Doan 2 days after a fire at his home killed Jason Doan. The teenager is facing murder, arson, and auto theft charges. And late last month, a boy was caught and charged in February, shooting death of an Indianapolis man. The body of Jacob Arnett was found in a bathtub at a home on Union Street. 15-year-old Jalen Thomas is now being charged as an adult. It took months for detectives to link him to Arnett's death, along with another teenager, 16-year-old Amand Hubbard. Police are looking for your help after the Face Low-Cost Animal Clinic was robbed at gunpoint. The staff says 2 armed men with their faces covered walked into the waiting room in the 1500 block of Massachusetts Avenue about 5:40 yesterday afternoon. There were about 20 employees and volunteers inside, along with 40 customers waiting to pick up their pets. The robbers threatened people, then took off with cash. The nonprofit organization that relies on donations says its customers and staff remained calm.
Our clients, after all of this was said and done, they were so thankful to our staff. They offered hugs, and some of them even made donations. And it's just a reminder that there are good people in this world, and you just have to find that light. And a lot of our supporters have already reached out as well to see what they can do to help us in this situation.
Face has been open at this Eastside location since 1999 and has never had problems before. It says it will now review safety procedures. If you have information, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. Still ahead on the news at 6, a quick rundown of more stories making headlines around the state. And Call 6 Investigates working for you.
It's not a good thing. We make dinner with this water.
Call 6 Investigates looking into drinking water concerns in Columbus after the city shuts down 2 wells. They share a number and a last name. They also share some kicking success. Coming up, see how the next generation of Vinatieri is following in his footsteps.
And we've got a busy 48 hours ahead. Temperatures will go way up and then come way down as we go through Saturday. What else comes with the cooler temperatures? Coming up.
Great holiday deals during the Happy Honda Days sales event.
From the station working for you, this is RTV6 News at 6.
I'm Beth. Beth Vaughn in the newsroom with a look at some of the other stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, Greenwood police and the ATF are trying to take 9 stolen guns off the streets. 7 handguns and 2 long guns were stolen from L. Muller's Firearms around 2:45 yesterday morning. These are surveillance pictures of the crime. A reward of up to $5,000 is being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible. 3 Indianapolis women are behind bars after a state trooper made quite the discovery. It happened during a traffic stop for a headlight violation. Just take a look. After making that stop last night near 34th and Emerson, a trooper found more than $1,500 in stolen merchandise from several stores, as well as marijuana. Most of the clothing, purses, and accessories still had security tags attached to them and no bags or receipts. All 3 18-year-old women were arrested for theft. A well-known Republican state senator will miss at least a portion of the next legislative session to serve our country. Senator Mike Delph of Carmel is a member of the Army Reserve and has been called to active duty. His service begins December 8th and will last at least 31 days. He's being sent to Puerto Rico for recovery work from damage caused by Hurricane Maria. Delph will miss at least the opening days of the General Assembly in early January. I'm Beth Vaughn. Erica, back to you.
People who live in Columbus are raising concerns about the safety of their drinking water tonight after the city shuts down 2 wells. The city utility made the move after tests showed a man-made chemical in the water. Call 6 Investigates has been working for you, tracking this for months, and headed to Columbus to find out if the water is really safe to drink.
It's called 1,4-dioxane. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it. But people who live in Columbus are concerned the contaminant was found in their drinking water.
Dave Jones has lived in Columbus for 30 years. After Call 6 Investigates revealed 1,4-dioxane in his drinking water, Jones and his family stopped drinking from the tap.
And to know that this carcinogen is in the water is not a good thing.
Indiana does not have a limit for 1,4-dioxane, and the federal EPA doesn't regulate the chemical.
Mercury and lead and asbestos were all deemed safe at 1.2, and now they're heavily regulated.
The Environmental Working Group says 1,4-dioxane increases your risk for cancer. They recommend 0.35 parts per billion or less in drinking water, but 2013 tests at Columbus Fairground plant shows levels as high as 0.98 parts per billion.
And dioxane is a really scary one.
Julie Lowe is chair of the Winding Waters Group Sierra Club in Columbus.
Kidney damage, liver damage, possibly carcinogenic. So I believe it should be regulated and banned.
We took citizen concerns straight to Columbus City Utilities Director Keith Reeves.
Is the water safe to drink?
Yes, the water is safe to drink.
Was the water safe to drink?
It's our position that the water was always safe to drink. We always met the drinking water standards.
Following a September story from Call 6 Investigates, the city retested its wells for dioxane for the first time in 4 years. The 2 wells closest to the White River tested positive, so the city closed them.
Why shut down the wells?
Precautionary. It's a precautionary measure. As we continue to investigate and seek what the source of this might be.
Since shutting down the wells, dioxane levels are now undetectable in the water. The Sierra Club points out the wells are close to known groundwater contamination. 1,4-dioxane is a byproduct of plastic production, among other things. Citizens and environmentalists want the city to figure out how it got into the water in the first place. In Columbus, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
The city of Columbus plans to build more water wells and will take into account dioxane when choosing locations. If you're concerned about the chemicals in your drinking water, you can request a water quality report from your water system. However, because dioxane is not regulated, your water utility is not required to test for it, and most home tests aren't going to measure it either.
And Carmel City Center camera is going to be fun here over the next several months as we go into the winter. They're getting the ice rink set up. That will open on Saturday. There'll be some weather challenges Saturday if you're planning on going there for the grand opening, and the market will open as well. We'll be able to zoom in on that and see how your fellow Hoosiers are doing skating. Temperatures upper 30s right now, 38 in Indy, Zionsville and Fishers at 35. Temperatures to the south not much different, 36 in Seymour. We set the stage here for some big changes ahead. Nothing happening tonight. We stay dry tonight. Temperatures don't change a whole lot. We'll be in the 30s. We eventually set the stage for rain to return tomorrow night, and that's probably the most active period. Kyle's got details there.
Yeah, Kevin, it could get a little bit stormy for us. Now, as we look ahead to your Saturday, there is that marginal or very isolated threat as we go through Saturday that we could have a couple of strong, maybe isolated severe storms there, especially along and south of Interstate 70. You can see that includes Indianapolis right through Bloomington into Columbus, Bedford, and Seymour. And that's primarily for some wind gusts because it's going to be breezy even outside of any rain and thunderstorms. We'll have winds on Saturday around 15 to 30 miles per hour, but some of those gusts around 40 miles per hour. So maybe if you've already put out some of those lawn decorations or you still have the patio furniture out, might want to secure that here as we go into the first half of your weekend. We'll get things started as we go into the overnight hours Friday into Saturday, and there's Saturday morning, a few rumbles of thunder to get things started even as we go through the late morning, and then that rain kind of winding down as we head into the afternoon and evening, but a fairly soggy start to the weekend. Kevin has how our Friday is shaping up.
And this timing pushes the rain more into Saturday than Friday. That's good news for Friday night football and other activities. Notice the temperature climbs through the day. Clouds will increase as well. Any temperatures in the early afternoon will slowly, steadily climb into the nighttime hours. There's your strong cold front that generates all the rain that Kyle was just showing you. It puts us in the warm section